One generation away, local churches and the Rocket City Trash Pandas have teamed up to give food out to those who need it. Food insecurity is on the rise as the pandemic pushes on, but hundreds of families were fed today because these groups want to make sure people don't go hungry. The senior pastor of Refuge Church tells us just how much food was given out today.
40,000 pounds of free groceries to our community. We have enough food for about 450 families here in our community. What we found is with the pandemic, food insecurity has just become a huge issue. In fact, recent census numbers show that over 30 million people across the United States have indicated that they've had trouble with food.
The next food distribution at Toyota Field will be on February 20th, starting at 9 o'clock a.m. or until 11:30 a.m., and that's just until the food runs out.